Tonight is the night. It's the night that we review Raw, only it's not really tonight because it's been a couple weeks now. Because Joel doesn't have cable, nor does he pay for the network, so he has to watch it much later. Now, as you may notice, I'm kind of alone this week. Armin's not here, but wait, who's that over there?
Oh, snap. Is that Joe? Joe's running in for a promo.
Oh,
He got in the ring. My God, he's got in a promo.
Off the ropes, it's Joe, everybody. Our brother in Scoop Slammery,
Yeah.
who's here to help me run down not just the Raw that was this week, but also I think the fallout of the not even just the Raw this week, but what kind of happened. I know I was checking the channel and you had some news about it, but we'll talk about it with our own thoughts when we get into it. I guess the big opening of the show was, of course, Roman Reigns coming down from the nosebleeds, as he often does, and cutting a promo on Seth Rollins.
Which I'm kind of glad he's wearing a t-shirt this time and not his Roman Reigns Shield gear. Yeah, I'm like, that's what he should be doing. Ditch the whatever vest he has and just wrestle with a shirt if he wants to.
Yes, please, because it's like, what is Roman Reigns' character at this point? You still come out to the Shield music. You still come down to the arena like the Shield did.
He seems like a guy that would be kind of have that Motorhead Triple H type theme song, but he doesn't, like, he seems like he could be a Triple H, at least the look wise and the feel wise. I don't know about career wise because he's doing something different, but yeah.
Well, it's funny. I had this argument with Armin there. It's like, it seems like they've really been grooming Seth to be Triple H Jr., where he's like, oh, I'm a cerebral assassin too, and I'm the corporate champion and everything, and blah blah blah.
It wasn't really the same. I think he was following the same kind of steps, but he didn't. I mean, if we were looking between Roman and Seth, Roman, in my opinion, has the more look to what Triple H had.
Right.
So, but.
He doesn't have the facial hair just yet, and he doesn't spit the water up yet.
Oh, I mean, he's going to have 9 months, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that when we get to you. Cool promo. They definitely build it up like, this is the match you got to be waiting for. But then, obviously, as we know, we'll get to that.
At least we'll get to the ending part of Raw, like the Survivor Series traditional tag match. But at least the weirdest thing when they said, we're going to have a traditional Survivor Series tag match on Raw, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Like, you're giving that away for free? That's like putting a Money in the Bank match on Raw.
It's
Why
true.
would you give that away for free?
And of course, like, the whole storyline that took us through the whole night was like, Team Rollins versus Team Reigns, and who are they going to recruit for their team? And I'm like, well, it's pretty obvious who they're going to recruit.
It was pretty obvious, to be honest. Not even it wasn't even the like little segments they had, like the big guy came in or whatever. It was literally, you knew who was going to be on the teams. You knew New Day and all that. You know what I mean?
It's like, we only have X amount of faces and heels at this point, and it's not like, Rollins is going to get one of the faces to come over to his team.
What would be funny is if you brought up someone from people, like the majority of the teams, like you could have had New Day, you could have had Ambrose, because that's of course but you could have brought up people from NXT just for that one match because they both were from NXT. Like I haven't seen NXT in a while, but I think Apollo Crews is a face, that big black guy Sean would like, but he could have, like, Roman could have been like, yo, brought my NXT brother, you know what I mean?
Apollo Crews, who is the son of Terry Crews and Apollo Creed.
True that.
So the first real match of the night was Ziggler v. Owens, and man, I love me some Owens, and he just continues to decimate and squash in his victories.
I think I'm in the minority of the likeliness of him because he's cool, I guess, but I don't really like him as much anymore. I liked him when he was that big heel against John Cena, but I mean, just I don't really click with his wrestling style. It's just me personally. I mean, Sean doesn't like John Cena. I mean, love John Cena.
Maybe I like Owens because they're all moves I could realistically do if I train, like the pop-up power bomb and like that crazy cannonball shit that he does.
I like, the high flyer Lucha Dragon style. That's just mine. But every time Owens comes out, and because my dad watches the wrestling too, he's all like, I don't like that chunky. And I was like, what? I find it hilarious. I was just like, I get his thing because it's kind of like a lot of, it's not too technical. It's a lot of just super, like, brawler style.
Yeah.
I get his reason.
He's a prize fighter, as they keep reminding us.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't really like him too much. He's cool. I'm not going to lie, because I'm not going to lie, he doesn't have talent. He does have talent. Just he's not my thing. But we, of course, knew Ziggler was kind of going to give it up to Owens because they're building up Owens for something. I don't know what yet. I don't know who's going to go for that Intercontinental.
Well,
championship. Yeah.
it's funny. Like, I know me and Armin weren't exactly digging his feuding with Ryback. I'm like, oh god, I
Yeah,
can't
me
wait
either.
for this feud to be over so he can then go on to bigger, better feuds. But this feud's clearly not with Ziggler because Ziggler's in the middle of his own feud with Tyler Breeze
Yeah.
currently, which I gotta say, I actually kind of like that because Tyler
Me too.
Breeze is like, I'm pretty, and Ziggler's like, hey, I'm pretty too.
Yeah, it's basically like the one like a guy who's basically 2.0 Ziggler, but is better in every way. You know?
Yeah, I'm the younger, hipper Ziggler. I have a selfie stick, and I thought that was pretty great when they got in the ring
Yeah.
and took a selfie with his beaten up body. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good.
I always thought Ziggler was good. Oh, I mean, Ziggler tried to be a early Shawn Michaels. He didn't
Yeah.
really click as well as
No.
early Shawn Michaels did. So I mean, I guess they have to fix that somehow.
I will be interested for when that for when the eventual Ziggler Breeze matchup actually happens, because it's funny, he's been showing up on Raw, but he hasn't really officially been wrestling. He hasn't officially been in a match.
I think he's been in Smack. No, he hasn't. Yeah, you're right. He hasn't had an official match on the main
He's
roster.
been all over SmackDown apparently.
I think what you're gonna see is I don't think you're necessarily gonna see them have a match at Survivor Series. You're gonna see them be in one of the traditional Survivor Series team, and they're gonna bring their feud into that match, into that tag team match, and then at TLC, which is after Survivor Series, you'll see them have, I don't know, a chairs match, tables, whatever, you know.
That'd be fun. Oh, and speaking of SmackDown, guess who got called back up from SmackDown after getting kind of pushed back down? The Miz was back.
Damn, fine. I mean, I don't know how you feel about the Miz, but I'm in the middle about him. I like him, but his off-air personality is so much better than his on-air.
He's a damn good talker, the Miz.
Yeah.
He feels like he's almost primed already for like a commentator job when it's all done.
Oh, dude, I don't know. There's this interview on Up Up Down Down, which of course is the Xavier Woods gaming channel.
Damn good channel.
Yeah, Xavier Woods interviewed the Miz for 2K16, and Miz gave this promo for Street Fighter. I was like, wow, this is like one of his best promos in a couple years. Like, man, I don't know, maybe they need to give him like kind of just rework his thing, because I think he's good, and I mean he was like an actor before he came on, so
Yeah.
he can do good. It's just that we need to see him back in a feud. I remember there's this thing, him and R-Truth. I don't know if if you saw that before.
Probably not.
No, okay, but there's this thing with him and R-Truth where they're basically F the man kind of stuff. Where
Right.
what was it? It was in Hell in a Cell. They locked themselves in Hell in a Cell with John Cena, and I think it might have been CM Punk, or CM Punk is someone, and they started beating up on the champion. While everybody on the main roster tried to open up the cell. It was like they were like the outlaws. I thought that was really cool.
And of course, Cesaro wins this one. Cesaro been on a real hot streak as of recently.
Thankfully, because I thought people were gonna forget about him, but no, he has a Cesaro section. Hopefully we'll get into it later, but hopefully he'll be a part of that #1 contenders thing that's coming up.
We can only hope. And I'm glad you mentioned the Cesaro section, because yet for another week in a row we've seen the Stardust section with him in the Ascension.
Yeah.
Which is that the next feud? Are they building up to that now? Are they going to build up to Cesaro v Stardust? Which honestly I'd be cool with, because I like them both.
I like them both too, and that'd be pretty cool. But to me, it seems like I don't know how far that would go, because it seems like they're gonna bring back Cody either before the New Year or just before WrestleMania, because Goldust is coming back, and Stardust has been tweeting like, if you want Cody back, this person has to come back and beat him, and it might be before the New Year's, or it might be a little bit after, like Royal Rumble.
That would be a fun gimmick match. Whoever loses has to give up their gimmick.
Well, that's why Goldust left, because Stardust won, and Goldust wasn't able to bring back Stardust at it was Fastlane, the one before WrestleMania, and now Goldust is gonna come back to win against Stardust, and he's gonna bring Cody back, which I'm fine with too, because I like Cody Rhodes. You probably haven't seen a lot of his other stuff.
I've only known Cody Rhodes as Stardust, and I think Stardust is great.
He's had a big evolution from like when he started off to a Stardust, and I think Stardust is great, no doubt, because he puts 100% into it, which I love. But I think bringing back Cody could bring something.
Can Cody Rhodes just come back as Cody Rhodes, the Star Wars fan who just quotes Star Wars facts in the ring?
He was in Up 'Em Down There, right? He started just quoting Star Wars. Like, he knows Star Wars. Like, that's the thing.
He does.
He really does. Like, he'll get really technical with it.
Hey, Vince, hey, Triple H, there's a new Star Wars movie coming out. This might be a good angle for Cody to just go in the ring and quote facts.
Stardust can be a villain off of the new Star Wars or something that they just didn't have time to put him in the movie.
I'm just saying, give Stardust a lightsaber is all I'm saying.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
The big promo of the night, basically, I think the big focal point of the entire night was the Wyatt family taking center stage, and by God, it was glorious. The WWE is bringing back magic powers.
Yes, I'm so glad because it's also bringing back the Brothers of Destruction, because I saw a report that they're bringing them up earlier than they thought. I think they initially wanted to bring Kane and Undertaker together as a team December for TLC or maybe Royal Rumble, but they're bringing up to Survivor Series, so I think you're going to see the Wyatts versus Brothers of Destruction and whoever else. I mean, it could just be the Wyatts versus them too. You don't need anybody else on Kane and Undertaker's team.
Just the two of them, man.
Yeah, they're really good, which this brings back memories because I remember the Brothers of Destruction, but it was more the Demon Kane and the American Badass Undertaker. It wasn't this Undertaker that we've seen, so anybody that's seen the Brothers of Destruction, they were such a powerhouse back in the day. Like, they're that mystic force, that supernatural, and now with the Wyatts, it's awesome that they're bringing this stuff back,
It's good booking. It's good booking
yeah.
is what it is. And man, friggin' Bray Wyatt, some of the best promo work of his career when he does that gets down on one knee thing and he summons the lightning and the fire. And apparently one of the other powers he got from Undertaker and Kane is the ability to summon clip packages. I can summon the clip package. It's not as impressive as my other powers.
I know you said this before, but I don't know how you meant it. Me personally, I love Bray Wyatt as a guy on the mic, as a promo type guy, more than I do as a wrestler type guy. Like, his style in the ring doesn't click with me as well as his promos do. I don't know if
there is a bit of disconnect going on.
Yeah, it might be so. I mean, you brought it before how the other guys are stronger, in terms of muscle and how they look, and Bray Wyatt's kind of the leader.
They've made the point time and time again that Luke Harper can win more fights, that Braun Strowman can win more fights.
Yeah, so I get that. Like, he's the leader who sends his cronies to go out and fight. He can fight himself, but he'd rather just sit back and mess with the minds of people, and that's what he's good at. Which I'm glad he's doing that. And I don't know, it just gets me so excited that the whole supernatural thing is back because they've been missing it for a while now.
Totally.
Heck yeah.
Next match was Lucha Dragons versus King Barrett and Sheamus.
Boys.
Yeah, who don't have a name, King Barrett and Sheamus. They should be called the European Connection or something.
Hey, they really should. I didn't think of that, but that's something they would have.
That one's free. That one's free, WWE. The next one's going to cost you. You're probably really happy in this one.
Yes.
Because good guys beat the bad guys in this one. The Lucha Dragons were able to beat a long-going losing streak at this point.
Oh, I'm so sad, too, because they have been getting a push, but for some reason they got pushed back.
They did, I love they got manhandled individually by Owens, in the last couple, weeks and months. Yeah, so it was nice to see them pull out a victory.
I'm telling you, in the next, hopefully before WrestleMania, they get a push for the tag titles because they have the pop power, with the people. People love to see the Lucha Dragons with their high-flying styles and everything, and they have the style, they have everything, they have everything ready to be champions. I think one of them just needs to talk more, and they need to give time for Kalisto, I think, to talk more.
Do you think they'll even be able to find a place for them in this all New Day, all Dudley Boys tag division that it seems to be?
That's the thing, they're ready, they were champions in NXT, and everybody loved them there, and I think they're just waiting for the New Day to go, not on their decline per se, but to have their time limit for it to be someone else, because New Day can still be strong without the titles, Well,
hey, Usos are back, so maybe they'll have more people
it's one of those things, I wish they would push them up more, but because Del Rio's back, they're pushing Del Rio, might as well push all the Mexicans on the roster.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of Del Rio, that was the next one. Yeah. Del Rio versus R-Truth, and I've mentioned many times before, I'm new to wrestling. I've only been watching the last year. This was my first R-Truth match I've ever seen, and he didn't even really get an entrance because by the time they came back from commercial, he was already in the ring.
Well, that's kind of R-Truth has been. I bet you. Do you know who Curtis Axel is?
Yeah, I know Curtis.
Okay, then I was about to say, then he's basically that level, you barely see him anymore, which is sad because you'd think they utilize both shows and put R-Truth, and he has some big, R-Truth has gotten a push before, and he's had in good storylines with them, the one I talked about, Miz and R-Truth and how they're the Outlaws, but he's always been that guy, no, he's pushed off to the side a lot. And
Also, hey, gotta mention Canada. Jack
yeah,
Swagger came back for a second to talk to Zeb Coulter there.
that was the promo. They're building up the feud between Del Rio and Swagger, which I thought Swagger went to TNA or something because I hadn't seen him in
Uh,
forever. I was like, "Where's Jack Swagger?" And
he just kind of came back to tell everyone he was alive. Like, hey, everyone, I'm still alive.
basically, and he's all like, "Zeb, how can you betray me and whatnot?" And I guess it makes sense that they're feuding now, Swagger and Del Rio. I doubt Swagger's gonna win. I think they're really pushing Del Rio, which
Oh, yeah.
I like Del Rio. I know Armin doesn't like Del Rio. Me and Richard do. I don't know how you feel about him.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I will say, I don't think he is as good a personality, but that's why they pair him with Coulter, though. Coulter can be all the personality, and he can hold up the story end for
It's
it.
like a Brock Heyman thing.
It's
Heyman
exactly that.
straight up carries that charisma.
Oh, God, yeah.
almost.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, if Brock had to talk on his own, he'd be fucked.
Yeah, that's yeah. So but the thing is, like, I don't know, like I like Coulter, but he was never one of my like. They need some new managers in there to help because Coulter has had some good stuff, but he's never been on a Heyman type level.
Yeah, why did the managers go away? Because I know they were
Yeah.
everywhere in old wrestling, like your Miss Elizabeth and your brother Loves and
Or your
everyone
Jimmy
else.
Hart back in the day.
Yeah. What happened to the managers? Why did the managers go? I mean, we kind of have them now with Heyman and Coulter, and I guess even Xavier Woods is technically a manager.
Well, it started to become that the people who were the night managing, but the people who were doing majority of the promos and tag teams were the ones wrestling as well. So they kind of just stopped with managers and just gave the big promos to one of the wrestlers who was the most talkative.
Right.
It was kind of like Edge and Christian. Edge was the one who talked the most. They didn't need a manager. Hardy's, Matt, Dudley's, it was Bubba. They stopped at the managers and just gave it to the guy who talked the most on the team, which it makes me sad because there's an art to managing in the promos they do on building up someone and selling something. There's an art to it.
Divas match up next. Becky wins. Moving on.
Which is okay. I was about to say, I was like, yeah, no, Paige wins, doesn't she?
Or no, yeah, that's right. I read that wrong. Sorry, that's right. Yeah, Paige. There were shenanigans going on, but yeah, that's what it ultimately was.
It's sad because like I wish Becky would have won because I like Becky Lynch, but it's whatever.
Yeah, Paige defeated Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Brie Bella, and the Divas Revolution marches on.
And lastly,
the big match everyone was, building up to: Team Reigns versus Team Rollins, heels versus faces in a Survivor Series style match, which, man, I hope you liked this match. I hope you dug this, Roman Reigns v. Rollins fight, because it's the only one you're going to be getting for a bit.
Yeah, for like 9 months or so. I think people are leaning on the 9 months because do we want to talk about the match first and then what happened?
Yes, let's talk about the match first, then we'll talk about what happened.
The match kind of went off the way you would expect it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Usos are back, and
That's cool.
It's basically they're gonna have sooner or later they're gonna have a stable where it's just The Rock's cousins.
Yeah, I know.
Sooner or later.
I hope. Actually, I'm going to talk about that later in my what I think they could do. But I'm glad you brought it up.
I made that joke on Twitter, but yeah, it's like the New Day. They've been teaming up with Rollins for a while now, and they who was the other one on their team? Owens, right?
Yeah, Owens was the other bad guy.
I guess it's kind of not predictable in a way, but just obvious that the people who are on their teams, and it was all right. Like, I mean, the Ambrose came in. Ambrose was the one I think who had a lot, and Rollins. It's just I like Rollins had to wasn't it Rollins because I'm flaking on it, but it wasn't it Rollins versus Ambrose and Reigns at the end.
Yeah, by the end there, because
Yeah.
Ambrose dirty deed Owens, putting him
I
down,
saw
while Rollins chair shot to Ambrose and drew the disqualification.
And he was trying to run away and everything, which is funny. That's his
classic heel antic. Oh no, I'm losing, gotta get out of here.
I know some people hated on that Rollins is like that heel that kind of just runs away. But I guess people are forgetting that Edge for the longest time did the same thing. He took his championship and ran out of the stadium when he could. But it's because Rollins was barely in like half a year into his championship career. When you see him come back, he'll probably be someone that won't run away from a challenge.
And it's interesting too, because and I've said this to Armin in other episodes, it does feel like there's two types of Rollins. There's the raw Rollins who runs away every chance he can get, and then there's pay-per-view Rollins who tries really hard and is impressive with his athleticism and everything. The two bits of characterization seem at odds with each other, doesn't it?
I'm telling you, you're gonna see more of that, the pay-per-view Rollins on the regular shows once he comes back, because I think everybody can kind of see that they've been wanting Rollins to go for a babyface turn, but now that he's gonna have time off, which it's not really the best thing you can ask for this kind of time off, but since he is, I'm pretty sure they're gonna bring him back as a babyface.
So I guess we can just hop right into it from there. For those who have been watching Scoot Slam, and for those who have been on the internet in the wrestling community, you'll know by now, Rollins fucked up his knee, something horrible in Dublin, torn ACL, torn meniscus. He basically wrecked everything.
It was like an ACL, MCL, and there was something else I forget exactly. But there's this guy that I follow on Twitter who's pretty like into the medical sports type stuff. He's not like, that's not his job, but he's always into that, because he used to do all that back in the day. And what he says is that they call that like the triangle of like death or something, because that's one of those things where it's hard to come back from, and it's not also that, but it's the long time to come back.
Yeah, everything he could have torn, he torn. There's footage of it online. I'm sure you can see. It was nasty. It was a nasty one.
Which you didn't even think that was gonna happen. It just seemed like anything normal, and then out of nowhere you see his knee just kind of like give out, wiggle.
Oh yeah.
And then you can tell him he fell, and then he still picked. What a champ though, Rollins. He still picked up Kane to get the win and powerbomb him into the table. What a champ! What a true champ.
Very much shades of course, when Triple H tore his it was quad, or he had a similar injury and continued on with the match, and he also was out for months to years rehabbing and everything, and he eventually did come back.
I remember the whole thing when they brought back DX in 2006 or 7, and then he got hurt, and then Shawn Michaels had to do DX by himself. I remember that. But the one thing I want to state, it's kind of what I mean, don't count Brock Lesnar, but look, Daniel Bryan, 4 to 5 years, wins championship, gets injured, and then he's out for such a long time. Rollins, 4 to 5 years, gets championship, gets injured. What's the deal with this? Like, it's such a weird thing. Brock Lesnar gets the championship, injures other people, but still.
Yeah.
It's like, there's such a weird, like, Daniel Bryan was taken out super early in his prime for his championship run.
Yep.
So was Rollins. It's like, so weird.
So yeah, obviously with an injury like this, 6 to 9 months at best if he even comes back at all. And so obviously he has to vacate the title now, which kind of means that the WWE moving into Survivor Series and their next couple of pay-per-views are in a really shitty position now, because they're down their champ right as they're trying to build up this Reigns-Rollins feud. And the question moving forward is, what the hell do they do now?
They're kind of gonna. I mean, I know Roman was the number 1 contender, but they are gonna kind of scramble a little bit, because I heard that they have to rewrite a majority of their storylines, not just Rollins, but and Reigns, but a majority of them to kind of accommodate for that kind of injury and vacate the title. And I'm assuming there's going to be a number 1 contenders match again, but this time it'll be probably more people and probably different people. I would assume put in a Cesaro, put in someone else. We all know it's going to be Reigns though in that match.
Well,
for Survivor Series.
It has to be. And, I feel bad for Reigns right now, because it seems like the fans were just kind of coming around to accept him now, where they're like, okay, well, you put in your work, for a little bit. We'll consider, cheering you now. We're starting to like you a bit. And now, even if he does win, and I'm going to assume he does win, because I think they've pretty much assumed that it's his time, there's going to be a big asterisk next to this win, where it's like, yeah, Roman, you won the belt. You didn't win off Seth Rollins, though, so
that really sucks, because I've seen that happen in general too over my time of watching WWE, where a wrestler has to vacate, and then a lot of people, I mean, Daniel Bryan was one of them where he had to vacate, and then people who win it, it's like they just have like, do they really win it?
Exactly. Or did you get a pity prize? And again, as someone who's just been watching wrestling recently, I think this already shows to me the weakness of how modern WWE books things, where it's like, oh, so you can only push one face and one champ at a time. So now here you're left in a lurch, where you've also been depending way too much on part-timers like Brock Lesnar, like The Undertaker, like Sting, who is hurt, like Randy Orton, who is also hurt.
Yeah, John Cena was even taking a vacation, and they're thinking about calling him back just to like push up the other people, like maybe not be for the title, but like being the number 1 contenders and just push up whoever beats them.
Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be the thing. I'm sure as soon as that happened, they were on the phone with John Cena, and they're like, look, what is it gonna take to make you cut this short and come back, because we literally, like, we have no one else. We literally have no one else. I mean, do you think they would spend the extra money to get Brock back this soon and be like, look, okay, here's Brock Reigns 2?
I think they're. I think even if they wanted to, I think they're not. I think they're saving Brock specifically for WrestleMania. And even if they wanted to, like, bring Brock back, they can easily quickly build up a storyline to someone who's very like not aggressive, threatful, but like who's powerful to help build up Reigns. Let's see who's an example, because you have to figure out who's a really good opponent for Reigns that will help push not only his over with the fans, but help him show that, yeah, Reigns got stronger.
Yeah,
So,
you're in a really bad position.
yeah.
I mean, you can't do anything with Owens or Del Rio, because I think they like them where they are right now. So you can't juggle that around, because they need to be in a messed up situation where it's like, oh, so he'll be the IC belt and heavyweight
The only
belt at
thing
the same.
I can see is possibly happen would be a Dean Ambrose friends type match, like we're buddies and brother in arms, but I will fight you for this championship.
That is the obvious writing thing, is what you do. You concoct some reason to keep it to be a Shield brothers in arms match, to find some reason for Ambrose to fight Reigns.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be. I mean, I suppose a lot of people have been clamoring for a Reigns heel turn.
Oh,
so
that's something people want, because I don't know, I guess.
they've been clamoring for it. And here's how I would write. It's like, okay, you have Reigns, win, and then, the power starts going to his head and he starts acting like a jerk and everything. And then Ambrose has to step up to stop him, is the thing. And you get one of those matches. Like, I don't know, maybe because his cousins are back now, maybe we use that stable idea where it's like, Reigns is like, I'm the champion now, and me and the Usos, we're the new Shield, and they just start fucking with everybody.
Damn, man, this is the Rock's cousins are just messing everybody up.
They're just messing. They're the Samoan connection. They're just beating the shit out of everybody. It's a massacre. And Dean Ambrose is like, I must stop my former brother. I must battle against him, even if that means I have to ally with the Shield or some shit.
I think that would have worked if Usos came back as heels, but I think they're still face. So if anything, if they're gonna have Reigns go heel, which could be a possibility, because even they will have to kind of do it on their own. Kind of like, I mean, if you want to do Samoan connection, you can say that they're willing to go heel for him,
Right, exactly.
Because they are family. So it's really, I guess we're just gonna have to see on next Monday, because they are gonna scramble super hard, because this is something that's like 1 in a million.
Yeah, they are in a bad position, so close to their next pay-per-view. Another idea, and again, this is just pure fantasy right here. Why not make the main event, make it a triple threat match, and have it be, okay, Roman Reigns versus Owen and Del Rio at the same time, and if you can beat both these guys, then you can be champion. How about that?
Heck yeah, something like that. I mean, I guess hopefully they can work it out well, honestly, because it would suck if it just like it's such boring writing, which they already kind of do, but it would suck if it was for the championship team,
It's true. And, if nothing else, I mean, the power of positivity over here.
Hey, you never know, right? Xavier Woods?
Xavier. No, I meant power of positivity. And, just because all, their big guns are hurt or away right now, this could be a chance to, push, some of the smaller guys that people like Cesaro, like all of them. They could have their moment.
Yeah, hopefully Cesaro, because I think he's a guy that you could see doing that. You know what I mean? He's a guy that could be champion, but they need to wait for the right time to push him, I think.
But he's not American, Joe. How can an American not hope to hold that belt?
Isn't Brock Lesnar Canadian?
No, Lesnar's not Canadian.
I think he was. I think he lives in Canada. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, because he likes to hunt and shit.
Yeah.
But no, he's not Canadian. I mean, heck, he tried out for the Vikings. Yeah, he's an American pro wrestler.
Yeah, all right. He's from South Dakota.
I mean, technically, Benoit, who we can't mention anymore, he had it for a bit, but even still.
Even Eddie had it. I mean, it's like they've had people who weren't American hold it, but I get what you mean. I get, because Vince is like, only American could hold it, even though, like, I think Seth Rollins Armenian. He's not Hispanic. I think he's Armenian.
See, I thought Rollins was Hispanic, though.
No, I think because I looked it up, and I think one of his parents are Hispanic, but he's Armenian.
Oh, so he's got a little of in there, so it's fine for him to hold it for a bit.
True. So I mean, I don't know what else.
His real name is Colby Lopez, Seth Rollins, which is funny because they give him such a white, almost Jewish name.
Yeah, but I remember I saw that like here, it said that he was Armenian. At least they've even said it before. Like he's from here, but he's like his background is Armenian. I know his name Lopez.
Well, I'll be damned.
I don't know. That's somebody. If anybody can say it in the comments.
Don't worry, Joe. It's the internet. There'll be a bunch of people lining up to correct you.
Sure.
So I guess on that we can bring this one to a close. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks Joe for helping me out with this one. We'll be back again, hopefully a little earlier. That is, if I can actually start freaking watching these things when they air, or at least watching them quicker in between hate watching Gotham.
You got this, Joe. Just put Gotham in the background while you watch Raw, because let's be honest, all you have to say is Penguin does this, and bam, that's Gotham.
Yeah, just say Penguin is good, Bullock is good, everyone else sucks the end.
Pretty much.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Laters.